Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Shazam, number 2 would be Hellboy, number 3 would be Missing Link, number 4 would be Pet Sematary, and number 5 would be Dumbo. And I only got 3 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend, and conveniently they were only the movies that had already come out. I got every single new release spot wrong, so let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, once again, Shazam, having about as average 50% drop as you'd expect with other comic book movies that we've seen before. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It's still making a ton of money for what it is, making $25 million, adding to a domestic total of $94 million. It's $6 million away from not only making $100 million domestically, but from also outgrossing Annabelle Creation, David F. Sandberg's previous film, which is pretty awesome. But worldwide, it is sitting at $221 million, and it is $85 million away from outgrossing Annabelle Creation worldwide, and I think we're definitely going to see that happen since this movie is so popular now. I was kind of hoping that the drop would be a little less than 50% since it's kind of close to a spring break for high schoolers, at least for me, that's what I'm on right now. Maybe it'll hold over a little bit better next weekend, at least I'm going to hope so, but it's still making a ton of money right now, so no need to really worry. Number 2, I didn't even think this movie was going to make it into the top 5, but it did. Little, making $15 million, adding to a worldwide total of $17 million, which is $3 million away from getting past its initial production budget of $20 million. It's going to need $40 million to be considered a success. I'm pretty sure it'll be able to get there, like combined domestic and worldwide totals. I'm pretty sure it might be able to. I thought this movie wasn't going to be as popular as it kind of is right now. Granted, it did open with $15 million, and that is pretty low, but I guess it's maybe just because I didn't expect Hellboy to open so low. It came in at number 3, which allowed little to overcome it, making $12 million. Jesus Christ, this is the worst opening for a Hellboy film ever. I bet Lionsgate is really regretting deciding to remake this since the Guillermo del Toro movies actually opened much better considerably, and if you made a third one, that probably would have opened with a better number than $12 million like they did, and this is on a budget of $50 million too. So maybe it'll open up worldwide in a couple other places, and it'll double its $50 million budget and they'll want to make more, but considering the critical bashing that this movie took, and for good reason because I've seen this film review coming soon, so I can't imagine that they would want to after such a critical bashing that they received. Coming in at number 4, we have Pet Sematary making $12 million, adding to a domestic total of $41 million. That is $16 million away from outgrossing the original Pet Sematary film, so that's pretty good. I think it will be able to get there considering, like I said earlier, it's kind of a spring break time. Maybe it'll hold over a little bit better, but then again, there is another horror film coming out next week, so I don't know, cross your fingers for this film. Worldwide, it is sitting at $76 million though, so it's still doing very well. As I mentioned last week, its budget is only $21 million, and it has already tripled that budget, and it's about to quadruple it worldwide, at least next week. We'll be able to see that happen. Number 5 is Dumbo, still struggling to double its $170 million budget, making $9 million, adding to a domestic total of $89 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $266 million. So as I've kind of stated before, it needs to get to $340 million to be considered a success, and I just don't know if it's going to do that. I don't know if it's opening in any other places worldwide, but it's looking like this movie is still continuing to die down a bit, and for good reason. I'd really hate for this Disney live-action remake to be a huge success. I'm really glad that it's not, though. Number 6, we have Captain Marvel making $8 million, adding to a domestic total of $386 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $1.64 billion, still making a ton of money, and domestically it is $3 million away from outgrossing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's overall domestic run, so that's pretty phenomenal that this movie is still surpassing other Marvel films out there with its finances, so that's very good. Number 7, we have Us making $6.9 million, adding to a domestic total of $163 million, $13 million away from outgrossing Jordan Peele's other film Get Out, and I do think it will be able to do that at least by next week. I'm hoping for it, crossing my fingers for it. Worldwide, it is sitting at $235 million, which is $20 million away from outgrossing Get Out worldwide. So I'm also going to cross my fingers for that. I'm just really hoping that this film is able to do that. Number 8, we have After, a movie that I barely remember anything about. I remember seeing the trailer once, but I don't really recall what it's about. It made $6.2 million on a budget of $14 million. There's no worldwide total for it yet. It needs to get to about $28 million to double that budget, and with an opening like this in the number 8 spot, I just don't see that happening. Now, number 9 is very interesting because it's Missing Link. I thought for sure that with some of the low numbers out there, this would be able to make it into the top 5. Apparently not. It only opened with $5 million, which is the worst Leica Studios opening ever, and I'm amazed by this. Looking at the other Leica films, they all kind of round out at a budget of $60 million, so I'm going to assume that this film kind of had the same budget there, but it doesn't really matter because it's still a huge flop by these standards. I don't really see it becoming a worldwide hit either, because none of the other Leica films are like that big, like a big colossal worldwide or anything, so I'm honestly really concerned for this company. I'm not sure how Leica stays open when all of their movies seem to kind of miss the mark in a lot of ways. I'm honestly really scared for this company's future because I know they pump out a lot of great things. I've heard good things about Missing Link. I'm just really scared about this, to be honest. And finally, closing out the video, number 10, The Best of Enemies, making $2 million, adding to a domestic total of $8 million. It's still $2 million off from crossing its initial production budget of $10 million, and it's not even close to doubling it and getting to $20 million. So, yay, thanks for coming, Sam Rockwell and Taraji P. Henson. Now you may leave. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, I'm going with The Curse of La Llorona. Number 2, Shazam. Number 3, Breakthrough. It's a faith-based film, and it's coming out on Wednesday. I almost forgot that it was coming out, but I'm going to predict it here. Number 4, Little. And then number 5, Hellboy. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.